This is the circuit of your D flip-flop, clocked D flip-flop, made up of NAND gates, because here this is gate number 1 if you say, and this is gate number 2, 3 and 4. They all are NAND gates. It appears to be inverted OR, but it is equivalent of NAND gate. If you recall from your De Morgan's theorem that a NAND is equivalent to inverted OR. Okay, a NAND can be regarded equivalent to a inverted OR. So this is also a NAND gate. Gate number 3 and gate number 4 is a NAND gate. Getting my point? Now you see, if we are applying clock in this fashion, means for some time duration this clock is low and for other time duration it is high, means we are applying a level clocking scheme. Level clocking, either the circuit is triggered by low level of clock or high level of clock. Okay, here in this situation this circuit is being triggered by high level of clocking. Okay, now suppose if we are applying 0 at this input, as it is shown in the timing diagram over here, and it has been applied 0 up to this time, 0 has been applied, but at this moment, this is timing diagram, this axis is time and this is the applied input output situations. Just at this moment this input happens to be 1. You are looking that at this moment the input turns from 0 to 1. So just after a circuit delay, as and when we apply this input we make this input from 0 to 1, the output does not appear at the same moment. Why? Because this circuit takes certain propagation delay. This circuit has certain propagation delay, and after that propagation delay the output becomes equal to the applied D input, which is the characteristic of this D flip-flop. Okay, so this output also becomes equal to D. But you see, after this time, means say this situation is occurring at instant t1. After the instant t2 the clock goes low, clock is going low, and after this t2 there is a transition in D input occurs. This means D happens to be equal to from 1 to 0, it becomes 0. After time t2 it becomes equal to 0. But whether this 0 is being entertained by this circuitry to produce its effect at the output, we have to see it, whether this 0, applied 0 at this D input is being entertained by this circuit. No. Why? Because when D has been applied equal to 0, the clock was also equal to 0, and when clock becomes equal to 0, no change at the input is entertained to make any change to the output. Okay, this is the characteristic of D flip-flop. Now you see, when the next change in the input can be entertained or will be entertained, any change in the input will be entertained only in this high level, only during the high level. And you see, whatever change occurs in this duration, that is entertained to appear at the output. You see, the copy of the input appears at the output during this time interval. The applied input appears at the output, but after this interval the clock once again goes to 0. Okay. This means output appears or input can make any change to the output during this whole on time of the clock period. Getting my point? Sometimes this is desired and sometimes it is undesired. We wish to make any change only either at this edge means from low to high transition, or from high to low transition. We don't want to make any change during this high level or low level. Many a times we desire to do this kind of change, to entertain this kind of change in this circuitry. So how it can be accomplished? Okay, this goal can be accomplished using edge triggering of the clock. So how we imply the edge triggering in the clock? You see, this is our normal level triggered D flip-flop. Okay, a normal level triggered D flip-flop. Now suppose we are applying a clock input like this to this circuitry, but we insert a circuit having capacitor and resistor. A block of this circuit has been inserted in between this path, in between this point and this point. Okay. In fact, what this circuit is doing, this is basically a differentiator. You might have studied at some level of your study that there is an electronic circuit known as differentiator. What a differentiator does? A differentiator produces an output which is proportional to the difference of the input. The more is the difference, the more is the output. Okay. A differentiator is an electronic circuit which produces its output which happens to be proportional to the difference of the applied input. So you see, if I am applying this kind of input to a differentiator, you see, if I apply input from this instant to this instant, there is no difference appearing at the input. But if you are applying input from this instant to this instant, there is a huge difference. There is a huge difference between the value occurring between this instant, say T2 and T1. So between time T2 and T1, it will produce a spike. The more is the difference, the more is the output. Okay. This means the differentiator output, what I am drawing over here is the output. The differentiator output will be like this during this instant. Okay. And this spike occurs because of the low time constant of this RC circuit. The capacitor takes less time to charge and it discharges with the path of this resistor as well. Okay. So this spike occurs, and after this, from this time T2 to time T3, It is having a constant value, input is having a constant value. So it will become, output will become almost flat, means no change in the output. But at this instant, the output once again changes. It has difference. And this difference will occur in this circuit in the form of negative spike. Okay. The more is this difference, the more is this negative spike. So what we are getting at the output of this differentiator, with respect to that clock, we are getting spikes, positive and negative spikes like this. Okay. Positive and negative spikes like this. So at the output, at this point, what appears? At the rising edge, we are getting this positive spike, and at the falling edge, we are getting this negative spike. Once again, at the rising edge, this arrowhead pointing upward indicates the rising edge of the clock, and arrowhead pointing downward indicates the falling edge of the clock. So at the rising edge, positive spike, and at the falling edge, negative spike. A positive spike means a value of 1 for that instant, a value equivalent to 1 for that instant. Okay. Now you see, if something is there at D input, something is there at the D input, say 0 was here, naturally 1 would be here. Okay. And this positive spike comes, then this 0 will be latched at the output. And after this time, even if we make any change in our input, it becomes, say, from 0 to 1. After this time, it will not be entertained to appear at the output. It will not be entertained to show any change at the output. Getting my point? So now this D flip-flop has become the rising edge triggered D flip-flop. Now it is not a normal level triggered D flip-flop, it is a edge triggered, and rather rising edge triggered D flip-flop. Clear? So now if we see the block level representation of D flip-flop, a normal D flip-flop, normal when I am saying, then it is a level clocked. It is a level, this clock should be indicated outside, clock, and Q is the output. So this is a level triggered, rather high level triggered D flip-flop. When I am saying high level, this means output can make any change, our input will be entertained during this high level of applied clock pulse. And if I show the symbol of D flip-flop like this, so this is low level triggered D flip-flop. When I am saying low level triggered, this means at the low level of this clock, changes can occur. So how can we make a low level triggered D flip-flop from a normal D flip-flop? If you simply, I show you the circuit. How can we make a low level triggered D flip-flop? This is a high level triggered D flip-flop. Simply if we insert an inverter over here in the clocking, okay, if we insert an inverter, what will happen? I am applying clock over here. Now positive 1 will appear at 0 over here. When I am applying 1 at this level clocking, it will appear at 0, and it is not going to make any change at the output, because it is going to give you 1 1 over here, okay, and 1 1 at the input of NAND gate. Both the inputs or 1 1, and suppose 0 1 was here, 0 1 was here. So this 0 is going to trigger this NAND gate and it will make it 1, and this 1 and this 1 it is making it 0. So 1 1 is not going to make any change at the output. This means if 1 is appearing at the clock, it is not going to make any change at the output. If 0 is appearing at the clock, this is 1 1 now, and now the input is given path to show any effect at the output. Now this D input will show any change at the output. Getting my point? So this flip flop is regarded as low level triggered D flip flop, level triggered, and that too low. So the symbol of this is bubble in the path of clock. Now what kind of flip flop is this? This is positive age triggered D flip flop. Getting my point? This is positive age triggered D flip flop. So what would be the symbol of this D flip flop? This is D input and this clock, and at this surface it is shown at an edge like this. In symbols you will notice that this thing, in books you will notice this thing, that there is an edge or triangular, a small triangle or kink is shown over here, and clock is applied over here. So this D flip flop is triggered on the occurrence of this positive edge. Now suppose if I insert an inverter in this circuit, naturally this negative edge will become positive and positive edge will become negative. So it is going to make any change at the negative edge now. Getting my point? It is going to make any change at the negative edge, and this is shown by a bubble over here. Now this is the symbol of negative edge triggered D flip flop. Negative edge triggered D flip flop. Now what is the benefit of this edge triggering? You will come to know when you will study your JK flip flop. Now once again I am coming to the JK flip flop. What was there in JK flip flop, if you recall? You see this SR latch is present in all your flip flops. Maybe it is D flip flop, maybe it is SR flip flop itself, maybe it is JK flip flop, or maybe it is a T flip flop. This SR flip flop will always be, SR latch will always be there. Okay. And this is now the steering input. Clock is being applied over here. This is J, this is K, and one of the input of this, you can name it to be gate number 1, gate number 2, gate number 3 and gate number 4. So one of the input of this gate number 1 is tagged with the output of gate number 4, or you can say that it is attached with Q bar, and one of the input of gate number 2 is attached with the normal output Q. Okay. And we have already analyzed this circuit. We have analyzed this circuit in our previous lecture, but just I am repeating, quickly repeating that analysis, that it has J and K as input. Okay. I am not taking okay, let us write this clock also, and Q bar as output. If this J was 0 and K was 1, okay, this Q was 0 and Q bar was 1. This analysis has been made. If this j is 1 and k is 0, q is 1 and q bar becomes 0. And if this j is 0 and k is 0, we do not get any change in the output states. Okay. And this all can happen if the clock was 1. This all can happen if the clock was 1. Otherwise, if clock is 0, no input is entertained to show any effect at the output. Output does not change. Okay. Now, you see what will happen if j is 1 and k is 1. You see what will happen if j is 1 and k is 1. Earlier in SR flip flop, it gives the invalid output. In SR flip flop, it gives the invalid output. And just to get rid of that invalid output, we designed JK flip flop. Okay. So, suppose you make this j to be equal to 1, k to be equal to 1, and you assume that the output, you may assume that this is in 0 1 state or in 1 0 state. You can flow in either way. You can assume it in as if it is 0 1 or it is 1 0. So, suppose the clock is level 1. Level 1. What happens? This 0, which is feeded back at the input of gate number 2, is going to make any trigger. Okay. This 0 will make it 1. Okay. And this all ones is going to make it 0. Now, what will happen? This is a SR latch. This part is SR latch. It will show all the behaviors of that SR latch. This 0 is appearing over here at the output of this NAND gate. It will make it to change it as 1. This 1 and this 1 is going to make it to change as 0. So, this 1 0 appears over here. So, whatever was the earlier output, earlier state, it will be the complement of that state. Okay. It will be the complement of that state. But you see, when we had applied the input, after a propagation time delay, suppose the total propagation time delay in this circuit is Tp, this output is further, the fresh output is further feeded back to the input. What is the fresh output? This 1 and this 0. And we have the 1 1 already available at the input, we have clock already available at the input. What will happen? This 0, which is appearing over here, is feeded back over here. It is going to make it 1. It is going to make it 1, and this 1 and these two ones, this is going to make it 0. So, naturally, at the input of this SR latch, the input conditions has changed, and it will change the output as 0 1. So, you are getting a kind of oscillation at the output, a oscillation of ones and zeros. Okay. This is also a not good situation. This situation should also be avoided. Okay. You will get a oscillation and complementary oscillation over here. If 1 is here, 0 will appear over here. If 0 was here, 1 will appear over here. A complementary oscillation at Q bar. But this oscillation kind of behavior should be avoided. Getting my point? And it happens only in this input situation. In other input situation, this kind of behavior you will never see. Okay. So, how it can be avoided? How it can be avoided? Suppose this output has been changed taking a time delay Tp. When it further comes back to show any effect for the further change at the input, then if this clock dies, if during that moment this clock dies, then this feedback will not is not going to make any change, any further change, you can say, any further change. Okay. So this can be accomplished by using edge triggering. That's why we prefer this edge triggering circuit instead of this level triggering. Okay. So in this condition also we get a race kind of situation. So just to avoid this race, we apply edge triggering, and edge triggering is obtained using the differentiator circuit. Okay. So now if you see, if we design the same JK flip flop, we will apply a differentiator circuit. At the input of this differentiator circuit, we give the level clocking, but at the output of this differentiator, what we obtain? We obtain these spikes. Okay. We obtain these edges, and only on these positive edges this circuit can make any change, because only for this moment a 1 appears at this point, only for this short duration. Okay. Now suppose if we see all the input output conditions in this circuit, clock, J, K, Q and Q bar. Okay. And when I am saying clock, what input I am applying as a clock is this. I will always see this input, and this part of this input, this very short time duration edge is in fact applied on the gate number 1 and 2. Okay. So if the clock is falling edge, I will indicate falling edge by this. Falling edge is this part of the clock. This means these negative notch. Okay, these negative spikes. So negative spikes means you are getting 0 at this point, and getting 0 at this point will definitely make these outputs 1. Whatever is coming at other input, no matter, it is not going to make any difference. So whatever occurs at the J and K, don't care, the output is always obtained as no change. Okay. Now if the clock is a rising edge, this means this instant of clock has been applied, and what occurs at the input? 0 1. 0 1. So 0 is here, 1 is here, getting my point, and 1 is going at the clock input. Okay. And you can assume that the present state is 1 0, you can assume. So the input which is having a 0 value at the NAND gate is definitely going to become 1. We need not to see what is coming at the other input. Now the input which are 1, we have to see what is coming at the other input to decide the final output of this gate number 2. So 1 is coming over here, naturally it will be equal to 0, and 1 0 at this NAND latch is going to make it 0 and 1. Okay. So this will become 0 and this will become 1. Now suppose this 0 and 1 is further feeding back towards the input, and it is being feeded back, Now this clock has been died. As and when it will further come back to the input, this clock has died because its duration was very short. Suppose the typical propagation delay time typical is say 20 nanosecond. Say 20 nanosecond. So we will make this clock duration to be less than this 20 nanosecond, and it is made somewhat about 10 nanosecond. This RC circuit is chosen so that it happens to be about 10 nanosecond. So just after 10 nanosecond it will die, and any further feedback from output is not going to show you any effect for further change. Getting my point? So suppose if rising edge was there and we had applied 1 0, and now suppose this is the situation, okay, and what we had applied is 1 0. So I am changing simply the color of the pen. 1 is applied at J and 0 is applied at K, and 0 1 is available over here. Okay, so 0 is going to decide or going to trigger, and it will make it 1, and this 1 and 1, suppose rising edge was there, okay, I am saying that rising edge is here, 1 and 1, we have to wait for other input also. This is 1 and it is making it 0, okay, and this 0 1 is making this output to be equal to 1 and this output to be equal to 0. This means it happens like this. Okay. Now you see what will happen if rising edge of the clock is there and 1 is there. Okay, and this is the situation already existing at the output. Okay, 1 and 1 is here. No input is going to trigger because which input condition has capability to trigger the NAND gate? 0. So 0 is coming from where? From Q bar, and this Q bar, okay, will make it what? 1, and this 1 and there are all ones will make it 0, and 1 0 at the this latch part of the circuit is going to make it 0 and 1, and this 0 and 1 will stay. It will stay until the occurrence of next rising edge. This 0 1 will not oscillate now, okay, because as and when it comes to the input, this rising edge has been died. It has been finished because its duration was less than the propagation delay time. Okay. Now it toggles, it changes its state. You see what will happen on the next rising edge. J is still 1, K is still 1. J is still 1 and K is still 1. And next rising edge has occurred. What will happen? This 0 is feeded back. This 0 is feeded back, and where this 0 is going? This 0 is going over here. Okay. This is making it 1. And this 1 and these all ones is making it 0. So this 0 is making it 1 and this 1 is converted to 0. This means output is toggled at the occurrence of the clock edge. Okay. So output is changing its states, and this is given the name toggle. Okay. So this way your JK flip-flop behaves. And now just to give a different name to this toggling action, suppose, okay, we have this JK flip-flop like this. JK and Q bar. Well, this is connected with, this is gate number 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. Now what I am giving input j and k 1, and the this at this moment this clock happens to be equal to 1, otherwise it is 0, otherwise it is 0. So when this combination exists, this output toggles, means changes its state. Okay. So now we can designate another kind of flip flop depending on its behavior as T flip flop. T has one input. You imagine that these two inputs has been tagged together, and a 1 is applied at this input, definitely a 1 will appear over here. Okay. Now we have a different flip flop derived from this JK flip flop, is known as T flip flop, which is having one input, and you can have both the outputs, or you may have one of the output. This is called T flip flop or toggle flip flop. Okay. Getting my point? So